on the air. We are back. We are here, Comadres y Comics. My name is Sarah. We are your hosts. I'm Sarah.
I'm Kristen.
And I'm Jen.
Welcome back, ladies. It's been a while. I know we actually took a little hiatus. Totally not our fault. Just stuff that happened.
I mean, we just plan things
and it's
without thinking.
I got sick with COVID
Yes, she did.
in early July, and I was sick for 2.5 weeks. Then was Comic-Con. I barely tested negative that Monday before we were to go to Comic-Con that Wednesday. I was so stressed out that I wasn't going to be able to go because we had the big panel that we were going to do on Saturday. And so that was already 3 weeks because when I got better, we went to Comic-Con, so that's the third week. Then I freaking caught Concrud 3000.
Oh, so did I.
At the convention, and I came home and I was sick for another freaking week and a half, and it was horrible. I couldn't freaking swallow. I lost 10 pounds. That was the only good thing. I couldn't eat. I couldn't swallow my own spit. TMI, but I had paper towel that I would just be like spitting.
But I had a handkerchief. And so and when that got loaded, I got an old T-shirt, and that's what I was spitting into because you're in bed and you're trying to get better. You can't get up every time and spit up into
right.
Yeah.
And why am I not conscious of how often I have to swallow spit on a regular day when I'm not sick? And it felt like I had to constantly swallow when my throat was just so swollen. It was horrible. So I was sick again. And then you went out of town. Oh, Jen went out of town. Then Sarah went out of town. Then I went out of town. And that brings us to where we are now.
The end of fucking August.
Yes. I was kind of hoping to do like a little recording at Comic-Con, but it was just such a whirlwind of stuff. People we visited with. It was just really, really just so much at you everywhere, all over, all at once. It was really cool. And then I also got the Concrud, and I actually I think it lasted like 3 good hard days of just coughing up all this phlegm and just being sick and stuff like that. And then all I could think of is it'll hurt if I swallow. Remember that commercial? It'll hurt if I swallow. This little kid is like, it'll hurt if I swallow. Anyway, that's all I could think of because, like you said, I didn't realize how much I swallowed throughout the freaking day. Then I got better, and then I was like, oh, geez, I just really need to get better to go to my trip to Nicaragua. And then lo and behold, just almost to the last day when I was flying back, I got sick. And it was both ears. And then I'm like, please, I don't want those ears to burst in the airplane. And then my ears are bleeding in the airplane. Like, I don't want that. That's not cool.
Oh, my God.
So basically what happened was thank you very much. I just held my ears closed because of the pressure and just waited till the plane landed to let them go. So hopefully, like, my ears wouldn't burst. But by that time, it was so painful that the next day when I woke up, my whole jaw hurt and I couldn't even chew. I couldn't.
Oh, my goodness.
And I was like, what do I eat? I'm kind of hungry because I was kind of hungry, but I can't eat because I can't chew. I can't bite or chew. So then I got really sick, and I was really sick for like, I don't know. I still have that little cough. So yeah, this is why, guys. We took like a little impromptu hiatus. I think it was a month that we didn't record, maybe. I don't know. Maybe a month and a half.
A month and a half.
Yeah, so I meant to put something on social media, but I never did. I was just sick, and then I got back to work, and it's been a hell of a ride. It's been a hell of a summer. And
I still am also suffering from effects of COVID. I have to have a inhaler. In fact, I have it right here because I was coughing like crazy when we first got on. I have started back running because I took about a month and a half off from running. I didn't do anything. And I barely started back. Not barely. This is like my 5th week back. but it's been tough. And today was the first day that I kind of really struggled. I was pushing myself, and we had to go up a hill, and I really struggled. I could feel the pressure so heavy in my chest. And I had to take a puff, which is weird because I've never had asthma. I've never had any breathing problems. And to feel like this, I remember, Jen, when you had COVID, you talked about how one of the times that you had it, it was so difficult for you to breathe. And it's just the worst feeling ever.
It is. It's truly horrible. And we still don't know the long lasting effects of COVID and like how
Yeah.
people are saying there's long COVID and stuff like that. TBH, I don't think I ever really fully recovered. Like, I feel like my lung capacity has lessened. And I mean, some of it is my own dumbass fault for other things, but like, I did really feel it with like when I got COVID, that it like really did affect my lung capacity. Anything else is just,
Yeah, same with me. And it's very frustrating. My doctor told me to do breathing exercises, and it's frustrating to do them because when I breathe in very deeply, I start coughing immediately. And it's just such a horrible feeling. And also to just feel like you're not making any progress of getting better, that I'm just stuck, stagnant at this one spot. And I don't want it to affect my running, but I have a race this Sunday, and I'm like, I was hoping to get a personal record at this race, to go faster than I had last year. But because I was off running for so long, and then also now my breathing is all messed up, that's not going to happen. All I care about now is just finishing.
Man, that's just crazy. But we'd like to apologize to the listeners who have been waiting for a new episode. Thank you for sticking around, and we're sorry for the wait, but sometimes life happens, and we are only human, and sorry about that. All right, guys, now it's time for CHISME de la Semana, and Kristen, you have some freaking crazy chisme. Sorry, I just found this out today, and I'm just like, what the actual F?
So there is a big uprising on the interwebs recently, all revolving around the brand new Absolute Batman logo. And it's just super, super funny. Everybody is just like, it's horrible, it's ugly, it's ridiculous. What the hell? So Sarah's showing it right now, and she actually had the perfect description. She's like, it looks like the Batman logo's been redacted.
Right? I mean, I just thought about this idea, and this was way before we started recording. I was watching this movie, and I was thinking, what if you put a T-shirt and you redact like some of the word, so like people have to think about it when they look at it. But I didn't mean for fucking Batman's logo to be redacted. What the hell? That's oh my god! I could see why everybody's in an uproar. I was completely appalled to see that. It's just
Yeah. The book itself, actually, I hear is pretty good. It's a storyline, an alternate story of in this universe, Batman is not a billionaire. He doesn't have access to a bat cave or all of the bat um, stuff that he has in the regular camp. He's just a dude who is fighting crime with his own means. And in fact, one of the pictures has him like with a big hammer in his hand or something. But um I've heard the book is pretty good, but this whole entire logo thing has really caused a big wave of hate across the DC universe and on the internet. So I even saw that somebody tried to get James Gunn involved, and it was like, "What do you think about this new logo?" And he was like, "Dudes, like I have no control over what goes on in the comments."
no comment. That's all I have to say. Wow, that's just
Oh my
crazy.
God.
But seriously, like honestly, like you can't get close enough to Batman because Batman is Batman. He's gonna Batman. So why did you think that just a little tiny like sliver of like the bat ears and the little bat like the it's so like tiny with this
Yeah.
big old, you know.
It's giving 90s Batman. It's giving Bronze Age Batman. It's
Okay.
giving what is it? Wildstorm art style as Batman.
Well,
I
Batman fans are I mean, out of the whole world of fandoms, Batman fans are, from my own experience, one of the fandoms that have some very, very, very strong opinions on how their character needs to behave and act. And this isn't even him behaving and acting, just his logo.
his logo, yeah.
No, I
literally.
definitely Batman fan had a strong opinion about it.
I
It doesn't even
mean,
look like a bat. You can barely just see the little point.
yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, can you even get close enough to see the little points on the freaking redaction across his chest? I
Yeah,
don't think
it's
so.
just this dude coming at you with a big black rectangle.
Oh my
You know what it
god.
kind of looks like? It kind of looks like do you remember when they would do like commercials for like monster truck rallies and stuff like that, and then like they have like a big like metal like logo and stuff like that would slam on with like
Yeah.
whatever. That's what it
Yeah.
looks like.
Mhm. Got it. Yeah. That's Well, I concur with the Bat fans out there. I mean, this is just, and I don't even know, like people are saying that like you're saying that the story is good, but what can you get past the imagery to get to the story and accept the story? Cuz I remember,
Yeah.
okay, like honestly, like I had a friend in high school. I still follow him on Facebook. Shout out to Mike. Anyway, he there was very little of us that read like Sandman. And so he said, "Yeah, I used to read it." And I'm like, "Well, why don't you read it anymore?" He's like, "I can't read something when it fucking makes my eyes bleed because of the art. Because they change the artist so often."
Oh,
He's like,
okay.
"Yeah." And I
There
guess
are definitely some artists that I have that feeling towards where I don't care how good the story is. If the art is just something that I can't get past, I can't read the story.
Do you remember the She-Hulk run?
The She-Hulk run?
Yeah. This was back in like I want to say like 2015, 2016. I forget who. Like the cover arts were amazing. The inside art,
I don't remember.
it's like this was back when Captain America got like the serum sucked out of him or something, and then he was back into like a 90-year-old man or something.
Oh,
And
I
then
vaguely remember that story. Yeah.
and then she had to play as like his lawyer or something like that about like some crime committed big way back in World War II.
wow.
It was an excellent run. It was really really good. Really, like I think her and Patsy Walker were sharing like an office or something together, or they were
Yeah,
like
that sounds
partners.
yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a really great run. The storyline on point. The cover art of the comics really really good because it was Kevin Wada. The interior art was not so great, and then there was like a specific run where they used a different artist, and I thought someone had thrown up on the page.
Wow.
Like I'm not, and it was all I could do because I knew the story was good. I knew I loved the story. I was just like, I'm just not gonna look at the art. I'm not gonna look at the art because it looks like someone threw up on it.
Wow.
There was a story, I think it's Murder Falcon, the name of the book. I never read it because I couldn't get past the art. And I'm sure that it's fine. I don't even know what it's about, but I could not get past the art. And there's this other artist, or maybe it's the same artist, where it looks like he draws with a ballpoint pen, and there's so many like sharp lines, and it's like it looks very sketchy. Like so he was just sketching, and I just whenever I see a book with that art on it, I don't even try to read it. I just pass it.
Yeah,
But other people love him. So it's just a personal preference.
yeah, it is a personal preference. But then sometimes I'm just like, no, like someone like
And then sometimes I'm like, who is this dude drawing Wonder Woman on the cover to make her look like a freaking caveman? What was his name? Frank Miller.
I don't. I'm not really. I was kind
Frank
of.
Miller art, cover art these past years, I cannot get past it.
They're still giving him work.
I
Crazy
know.
Frank.
Yeah, the shit he says online. Anyways, yeah, I don't know. It feels like this. Okay, admittedly, I haven't really been like besides the podcast and like the graphic novels and stuff like that we read. I'm not really actively reading comic books anymore. And it's kind of sad. I went to a comic book store in Las Vegas because I was trying to get rid of these last few magic cards that I have because also my time with magic is gone. Goodbye.
Aw.
Loved you while it lasted. Um, but as I was there, they also had like comics and stuff like that, and I was like, they offered me store credit, and I was just like, well, let me take a
Oh.
look around. Maybe I'll take the store credit and get something. Nothing. Nothing if it's not action figures, not the collectibles, not the comics, not the other stuff like potential other cards. I was just like, all right, we're over this phase of our life. It was
Aw.
nice. It was nice while it lasted. And of course, I still love doing the podcast. I still love reading graphic novels because I do like graphic novels. But and I will continue reading graphic novels and stuff like that. But I think like over like single issues or like superhero stuff, I'm over it.
Oh yeah.
And it's like it makes me sad because I did love it for a very long time. But like maybe I'll pick up Image.
I think
trade.
also just because you're not in the shop and around them
Yeah.
all the time and you don't have access to them, the
Yeah,
truth
that's
of the
another thing.
matter is that currently it is an extra expense for people. And
Mhm.
it's a really low priority when you really
Yeah.
look at it. It's a type of entertainment that I think people look at, and especially with single issues, they're like, okay, I'm interested in the story, but let me just wait for the trade because A, I can read the whole story all at once, and B, it's going to be cheaper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually
That's
how I
true.
feel. I wait for
Yeah.
the trade, honestly.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm doing now. I like there's some stories that have kind of piqued my interest, and they're all indie stuff now too. I'm not reading Marvel or DC at all, or
Yeah.
like it's side imprints or anything. I'm strictly just reading like indie stuff, like indie trades, and I support your local comic shops if you want to see them thrive and if you want to like see them there. But TBH, I have mostly been going to Barnes and Nobles to get my graphic novels, and my secret shame.
Oh,
So
no.
and also because I don't really like the local comic shops around me either. They're giving like old hidey ho vibes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'm just so like I'm good, thank you. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna go to Barnes and Noble.
I mean,
Fam.
to me, the most important thing is that people just read them.
Mhm.
I have been reading them for free from Hoopla online, which
Yeah.
is my library's graphic novel lending system. I'm not
Mhm.
sure if it's something that all libraries, but that's how I've been reading the books for our monthly book club. And
Mhm.
it's free. You just have to have a library card, and their collection is vast. You can read single issues, you can read graphic novels, and for the most part, the single issues are pretty current. So
Very nice.
I
I
definitely
like
recommend just people to read any way they can, and that's a really good option.
that is true. Actually, for me the Dr. Martin Luther King library here is really, really it's like freaking 9 stories because it's so attached to the university.
Oh,
But like the first 3 floors are for the public. And they have a really great collection. And whenever I like go there like for writing and stuff like that, sometimes when I get bored or when I'm like I need a break, I like go and like hunt down a book or a graphic novel and stuff like that. The only thing is sometimes I'm just like they're in the little kid section. I can't be here. I can't be here.
That's
But
cool.
yeah, So like also going to the library, the app you said, but also like the physical library. They have graphic
Yeah.
novels too. For free.
Sections.
Yeah.
That has been our long drawn out CHISME.
Yeah.
All right, guys, now it's time for On My Radar. And On My Radar is the very last season of Umbrella Academy on Netflix. The whole complete
Ooh.
last season is available to stream now. I just finished it 2 days ago, and I didn't read the comic book, honestly, the graphic novel, but I really enjoyed it, and I like the way that it actually ended. I really, really liked it, and I have been watching this series since the beginning, so like it really felt like I was saying goodbye to a lot of the characters that I was familiar with. Um, I really liked the way they handled. Um, forgot his name. His last name is
Vincent
Page.
or something?
His last name is Page. Elliot Page, how they handled
Oh
his
yes.
transition. So
Yeah.
in the series itself, and I thought that was really great. I really enjoyed it, and I hope if you guys are not familiar with it, you guys either pick up the graphic novel or just start streaming from the first season. It's and you can actually conclude it, so it finishes up quite nicely, not like Anne with an E that they canceled. But I digress. So that is on my radar. What's on your radar, Kristen?
So I have recently had the opportunity to reread Traveling to Mars. I had read the first couple of issues when the singles first came out, but then the shop closed and I was never able to finish the series. And we read it for our third Thursday book club. If you are interested, if you're listening, I never even thought about mentioning this on the podcast, but if you're interested, I do a graphic novel book club with a lot of the patrons from Heidi Ho Comics. And we meet once a month. It's the third Thursday. And we pick a book to read and discuss. And we always pick one that is available on Hoopla so that having access to it hopefully is not an issue. So we have we had Traveling to Mars as the most recent book, and this I wanted to mention this because it's a really great book, and the trade paperback is going to be released in November. So it hasn't come out yet. You can get the single issues online on Hoopla, but the trade paperback isn't going to be available for purchase or online until November. But this is a story about Roy, who is kind of just like, for lack of a better word, a loser. He grew up in a small, like, Midwestern town and was nothing really special about him, very average. He graduated from high school. In high school, he worked at a pet store. And at that pet store, he eventually became a manager. And that was just kind of as far as he could go in life. And he met his love of his life there at the store, and he married her, and they started a life together. And then something kind of tragic happens within the relationship and causes that relationship to kind of end. And what happens is that this book picks up with Roy being an older guy who's just living by himself, kind of like in squalor. um, and he has found out that he has terminal cancer. And the thing about him having terminal cancer is that that makes him the perfect candidate to be sent on this mission to Mars.
Wow.
Because information has just been sent from the rovers on Mars that there's water and there's an environment that can basically be honed in to make it inhabitable by humans. And this is kind of in a near future, where Earth is very, very quickly just being razed to the ground with just humans who have not paid one iota of attention to the fact that global warming and environmental issues are important. And so the earth has just started to just basically die. And so this Mars information is super important. And so they need to, that somebody needs to claim as, being I guess, a being the owner of Mars so that they can actually profit from everything that is going on and people moving there and living there. And so they pick Roy because A, he's dying, B, he has no really family connections. He's just a loner. And so that's just kind of the basis of the story. But the story itself is really the inner dialogue that Roy has on this mission. He's on this rocket that is taking him it's a spaceship actually taking him to Mars. His only companions are 2 androids that are on the ship with him. And it's really just him going over the mistakes he made in life, the things he did and didn't do in life, and really some deep thoughts of how he came to where he is now on his way to Mars. It is just amazing. It's written by Mark Russell, who is very well known for his satirical books. He also wrote another book that I highly recommend called Not All Robots. He also wrote Snagglepuss book. And Sage Left. He is an amazing writer. I highly recommend anything by him. But this book in particular is really introspective of the character and has a very interesting plot twist in it as well that I literally gasped at when I turned the page and read what happened. So Traveling to Mars by Mark Russell, the trade paperback is out in November.
Awesome.
Sounds exciting. Can't wait to get it.
All right, guys, now it's time for La Hora de la Cervecita. What are we drinking today, ladies?
I don't know.
All I see is IPA.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
a word that starts with a P and then is immediately followed by an F or IEM. And I'm just going to assume that the P is silent. Pfriem?
And Hood River, Oregon.
Know.
Yes, from Hood River, Oregon. And it's an IPA and it's a proudly crafted, humbly offered. I like that. That's on top of the can. I like that. It is
aromas of peach and papaya
with refined notes of pine and lychee fruit.
Oh.
I'm not a fan of pine in my beer, but we'll see.
Wait, no. I got this because of the gold tones of the top of the can and the gold tones of the bear and the graphics on the can. And the bear is wearing a hat, and you cannot go wrong with the bear wearing a hat.
I'm going to be honest and say that I have not drank an IPA probably since the last time we tried an IPA here, which has been months.
Yes.
I've been drinking nothing but Pilsners, Modelo's.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, it does smell like peach and lychee.
Yes. But as soon as I smell this, the memories have come flooding.
Ladies and gentlemen, she did not get to go on the pirate ship this year at San Diego Comic-Con because she was feeling a little ill, still trying to recover and getting the con crud. But I did go on the pirate ship with my husband because my husband went to San Diego this year with us. And he's like, I have to stand in line to go drink beer. And I said, you don't understand. You're going to love it there. He's
it's all about the
He's
all, what, the pirate ship? And I go, dude, you're going to love it. He's all, I go, what else are we going to do? Just stand in line. Like, I'm trying to talk him into it, right? So we're standing in line. We win a few prizes. I win a t-shirt. We win pins. It's really cool. Everybody's awesome. We get on the ship. Tell me why after the second beer, Frank is saying, okay, if we have to go to the restroom, we could go use the restroom and then get back in line so we could keep drinking. I'm like, so are you telling me you love the pirate ship? Because yes. And I go, okay. We did not go back on the ship, though. but he was like all down to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, because, well, the thing is that Sarah didn't come until Friday.
Yeah.
And on Friday, I was volunteering at, was it Friday I was volunteering?
No, I think
No,
it was
I volunteered
Saturday.
Saturday.
Yeah, it was Saturday.
But there was something happening on Friday that I was like, I can't go.
Yeah,
Oh, duh. The whole day was retail day.
yes,
So
it
I
was.
had
Oh.
panel after panel after panel that was all retailer related. So I couldn't go that day. And then Saturday I was volunteering at Prism, and also it was our panel.
night.
And so I was like, I'm not going to drink
Yeah.
and be drunk before.
No, I told Frank too. I said, no, we can't drink today. We'll just have to do it tomorrow.
And then Sunday, I was just completely done with stuff. And it was
hot.
It was hot.
It was really hot.
And what happened on Sunday? Because I actually do remember going to the convention for something, but I didn't want to stand in the line or be on the boat. But yeah, so it was very frustrating that I had to miss. But this is all to say that Sarah is not allowed to not come on Wednesdays anymore. Like, it completely ruined my plans for the pirate ship.
Totally, yes. Next year, hopefully, like I'll get there sooner. We could do the pirate ship, but actually,
Everybody just hear Jen burp, and then people who are watching actually see the burp on her.
I got interviewed by someone on the boat that gets to get on the boat without standing in line because she promotes the boat.
Why?
So I wanted to get in on that. So I interviewed with her. I don't know if she posted it. I'm like been looking to see if she emails me. But we were visibly both tipsy. So I don't know if she was like, nope, this is not footage we need. But I want to get on that level where we don't have to wait in line and just get on the boat and promote the heck out of it. So I actually took my T-shirt and a Voodoo Ranger to Nicaragua and took pictures. So I'll be posting them on our social medias, and hopefully we can get that status where we're VIP homie. We're just gonna get on the boat, no line, kind of thing. But anyway, back to the beer review. What do you guys think so far of this beer? Let's start with Jen because I think she's really enjoying it. Or maybe not.
I am really enjoying the peach and lychee flavors. I hate the aftertaste.
Yeah.
So it's like drinking it is so good, but then
Right. Got it.
So this is actually a great reintroduction for me to IPAs. Again, like I said, I've been actively avoiding them because IPA is just not a summer beer for me at all. It's too heavy in my stomach. I guess it's my old age. I just can't drink them anymore as my go-to, which used to be my go-to. And so when I saw that this was what we were going to be drinking, like, oh, I don't want to. But it actually is very flavorful. You can taste the peach. I don't think I've ever had a lychee before in my life. I've seen them at the frozen yogurt
they're so
store,
good.
but
They're
I've
so
never eaten them.
delicious.
And I don't taste the pine, which is good because I hate pine in my beer. It was like a huge trend a couple of years ago,
Yes.
and it was the worst thing that ever happened to the craft beer industry. But this is good. I would go back and buy a 6-pack of this beer to enjoy, like take to a party, on an outing. I don't know what it's only a 6.8. I mean, we definitely had IPAs that were higher in ABV. This is pretty average, I get. I mean, on the higher side, close to 7, but definitely for someone who's been drinking 4.5s for the last couple of months, it's probably going to hit me very quickly.
Yeah, yeah. No, I enjoyed it too. I like those notes, the peach note. I really enjoyed it. I like initially when you open it, that smell wasn't as pungent. I really greatly enjoyed it. I really like the can art. And I love the fact that they do the gold against the black, which makes it really look elegant. But the
Yes.
flavor is definitely there. I really, really enjoyed it. I'm glad that it's not really high in the ABV because we could really focus on the flavor and not like, oh, worry about getting like it hitting us so bad. So are we ready to
Speak for yourself. I want to get fucked up.
okay. Got it. Yeah.
Truth is, we sat down to record this podcast a good hour and a half ago. So it's been sitting out, and it's no longer cold for me anyway,
Okay.
but I still really am enjoying it. And I feel like the room temperature has actually enhanced the flavor notes. So
I did
not that I would prefer to drink hot IPA. It's not hot as room temperature, but it's not actually affecting it negatively at all.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I might like it more if it was cold
Yeah.
because mine has definitely hit room temp.
Me too.
It's like no, and again, it's not warm, but it's definitely like
Not as cold.
room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
room temp. It's not cold anymore to me. And I do. For me, it's mostly like IPAs have a certain like aftertaste, and it's always the hops. And to me, that will always be noticeable. But you guys are both right in that the flavors are really good. It has a wonderful depth of flavors.
Mhm.
Like I can taste the peach and the lychee. Um, the pine, not so much. A little bit of like fruitiness of papaya,
Yes,
but not like a strong flavor of it.
I'm
I
not
guess
a fan
maybe
of papaya, but I can
no.
taste it.
Yeah, it's like it's very, very subtle. Um, but it mostly lends to that kind of like a fruity taste because it's not IPAs aren't sweet. But it gives kind of like that nice kind of almost because most of the time I feel like IPAs use pineapple,
Yeah.
which isn't bad. It's good. But this is like another tropical fruit, so it still has kind of like a tropical flavor. But that isn't like kind of boring like pineapple.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Jen
The
is
flavor
super
notes.
sensitive.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say Jen is super sensitive to the aftertaste of the hops in IPAs, but I really want to say that for me, it is very, very minimal.
Right. Right.
Fair enough. Yeah.
So what is our rating scale, Kristen?
Oh, so we have a 5-point rating scale. I haven't looked at it in so long. It is a rating scale that starts with what I'm usually. Oh, look at our old rating scale.
Oh no, she has the old one. The old one had to do with like a male part of the human body.
Genitalia.
Yeah.
So, a 1 for us is very unsatisfied. A 2 out of 5 is unsatisfied. A 3 out of 5 is a neutral. A 4 out of 5 is satisfied, and a 5 out of 5 is very satisfied. And if it is a beer that we particularly really, really like, we give it a 6 out of 5. Super saiyan.
Yes.
Excuse me. So I'll go ahead and get started, and I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5. I think that my aversion to IPAs might be over with this beer. It was really, really good, very flavorful. For me anyway, minimal aftertaste. Some people love that hoppy aftertaste of an IPA and feel like if it doesn't have it, it's not a good IPA. No, honestly, I feel like that's a lazy IPA that is very hoppy at the end, and an IPA should be well-rounded in flavor. This one definitely is. I give it a 5 out of 5.
I'm gonna second that, and I'm also giving it a 5 out of 5, including the actual initial smell when you open the can was really, really fragrant and beautiful, and the can art was really good as well. So it's a really well executed beer. I really enjoyed it. What about you, Jen?
I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5, simply because its only crime is that it's an IPA. Because I do like everything else about it. It's just for me, it's the hops.
Yeah.
I don't know. As someone who really likes sour and like vinegary things, I don't like saisons and I don't like IPAs.
Right?
So
The saisons really hurt my stomach.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
just like, no, thank you.
Yeah,
They
they're
hurt my tongue.
good.
Yeah.
Like, oh, geez,
So
take a
this is gonna be
teaspoon.
like, I think that's still like pretty good considering that I'm 100% an IPA hater.
You're right.
4 out of 5 for me.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's really good. That was our beer review. All right, guys, now it's time for our book review. What are we reviewing today, ladies?
Today we are reviewing Goth by Kate Leth. Okay, so I'm gonna read the synopsis here on the back. It says, "Live home just doesn't fit in. It's not easy when you're an out bisexual goth girl in the early 2000s. On top of that, she's the new kid at a new school in a whole new town. What's a spooky, awkward, lonely girl to do? When the going gets tough, Liv finds sanctuary in her own slice of teen heaven, the mall. After locking down a cringe but paying job near the food court, her world gets a little bit bigger. She makes new friends, finds new hobbies, and even starts a new relationship with a fellow goth. Life starts getting good. That is until she finds out her boyfriend already has a girlfriend, and that her parents may be divorcing, and that the special attention she's getting from her favorite teacher has an inappropriate, dangerous history. All Liv wants is to find people who get her. Why does it have to be so hard? From acclaimed comic artist Kate Leth comes a story about standing up, standing out, and finding yourself despite everything high school throws at you."
Well, first off, let me just say that the author and the artist are the same person. And you know what I think about that? I think that's sensational, amazing that a person would do both the writing and the drawing of their book. It's a lot of work. And I think that the execution of this comic was excellent. I love the art. Mm. I love all the references of old young Sarah in this book. You see Liv was sporting the little swirl in her eye, just like Death from Neil Gaiman's Sandman. And you see all the posters. I think Underworld was one of the posters where Selena's at the top of the building looking down on Gotham City. Oh, sorry, that's a different character. But it has like The Nightmare Before Christmas. It has references to Invader Sim. There's a Johnny Depp poster in her room. It's super, super cool. And I love this button that she has. It says, oh my God, I love it. First day of school, she wears this button on her lapel and it says, "Dip me in chocolate and throw me to the lesbians." Love it. Love it. We find out later in the story that she is not a lesbian. She's bisexual, but there's no bisexual pins at that moment in time that she's found. So she just has this button and she wears it, I think, in order for her to put herself out there as this is me. So stay away kind of thing. Like I feel like a lot of her as the character is basically trying to preserve herself and just kind of like avoid any kind of bullying and avoid any interaction for her to get like disappointed later on, which I thought was like really interesting, especially because I feel like the characters move around a lot because of the dad's job. I thought that the character itself, Liv, is like really real well rounded, and we know where she's coming from and why she does the things that she does and why she tries to avoid certain scenarios because of who she is and how she dresses and how disappointed she's been in the past. What did you guys think?
I really love the book. Especially I think because I was definitely like a mall goth because it's early 2000s and like this is like back when like Hot Topic used to look like out and like all about that. And it's it's so it read so familiar to me. Definitely didn't go through half of what she did, and there was still like whatchamacallit, I would say that, I mean, I grew up poor Latina in a religious, very strongly religious household. So I wasn't able to dress half of how she was, but definitely a lot of the attitude was the same. um, and I loved, like, it was definitely it was definitely contentious at points and very tense, but I really did love her relationship with her mother because her mother never criticized her about
Right.
what it is that she wore, like how she presented herself, and she like supported her. And anything that had to do with attention was the father's fault, TBH.
Mhm.
Um, and so I really love this book. Like, I was, when I went to go get breakfast today, I was like flipping through it and I just could not put it down. It was so, so, so good. I really did enjoy it. And there is this wonderful note in the beginning, a note from the author. This book is a work of fiction inspired by a real event. If you or a young person you know is experiencing unwanted attention from an adult, speak up until someone listens. You can find more information and resources at rain.org. That's RAINN.org. And I think that is amazing because it's, from memory alone, I can remember 3 teachers being dismissed from, not all in the same school, but like over different, like from middle school to high school. 3 teachers being dismissed for inappropriate relations with a student. Like, especially the middle school ones. Like, that's like, those are preteens.
Yeah.
Like, it's so crazy to me how this is allowed. And I don't think they've even caught half of the people who are actually doing this. Like, it's, and there's also the assumption that it's usually a man. I mean,
Mhm.
usually it is. But there is also like, I remember reading a post or something about like this like older woman like marrying
Yes.
her high school sweetheart, but her high school sweetheart was
her
actually a high
student.
schooler.
Yes.
Was her student, and they got married immediately after like he got out of high school. And I was
And she
just
was in
like,
prison.
She was in prison.
Mary
Yeah.
Kay Letourneau.
Yes.
Yeah.
They actually ended up
Mhm.
having like 3 kids, I believe.
Yeah. Mhm.
In the end, they did
That's,
divorce.
Yeah, she
so
reoffended when she got out. She immediately went and visited with him, and they got caught having sex in the back of a car.
Yep.
And he was, I think he was still underage.
Underage.
Yeah, but he was 12
Yeah.
when they started with their love affair, and she was married with kids.
Yes, she was. She had like 3 kids already from her for her first husband. And actually they made a movie about it with about
made a movie?
about that subject, that particular story, and it was with what is it called? Natalie Portman and the redhead who was in Silence of the Lambs that replaced Jodie Foster. Gillian Anderson? No. Um anyway, she's a redhead and she's a really great actress. She was, I can't believe I always forget her name, but she's one of, I really love her work. But anyway, she was also in the movie, and the guy that played the young man was super fucking hot in the movie. Anyway, I followed that story a lot because I was just dumbfounded that she
Yeah,
would
me
say
too.
that was the love of her life. And he
Mhm.
was like 12.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
that was fucking ridiculous. And then after everything, after I guess he became legal and they all already had 2 kids, they got married, and then they got divorced. But then he was there for her last moments because she was diagnosed with breast cancer, I believe.
Yeah.
And she ended up
Mhm.
dying from her cancer diagnosis, but he was there um with her. Not, they had already been divorced, but yeah, that's fucking crazy. But yes,
That's why.
yeah, it's wild. Like we hear a lot of more stories coming out of women teachers seducing their um, young students, and I've seen other stories about that and how there's an uproar because they actually don't get a lot of jail time for that,
Yep.
which
No,
is terrible.
they don't.
Yep.
And even when like stories like that come out in the comments, like people are just so like, yeah, like, oh my god, he bagged an older woman. Like
Yes,
that's statutory rape.
it is, dude.
Like it doesn't matter if it's not a young girl, that's a child.
Yes. Ew, just
And
thinking
it's
about
just like,
that and seeing my nephew, I'm like, ugh, this is sickening, disgusting.
yeah. Like I look at him, I'm just like, they're still painting nose. Ew.
Yeah, my brother wasn't even brushing his teeth and taking showers at 12.
Exactly.
Ouch.
They're sweaty and stinky, and they don't even like, ugh. And they're like, or like when I imagine myself at that age, I'm just all like, girl, you know what I was thinking of when I was like 15 or 16? I mean, this is gonna get really depressing really fast, but I was definitely thinking about killing myself.
Right.
Me too.
I can joke about that.
No, I mean, yeah, like for myself as well. It's like, I don't want to live. That guy doesn't like me. I want to just concentrate on making my heart stop beating. So freaking depressing, goth, dramatic,
like,
que drama, un chingo de drama, yo. Seriously.
I was definitely like throwing myself dramatically on the floor.
Oh
and
yes.
being like, I don't want to live.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No.
Like, what if I just stopped breathing right now?
Yes. And not only that, like because we grew up with telenovelas, it was even more dramatic.
Yes.
Yes. It's like, oh,
Yes.
me voy a desmayar en la cama. Like I'm just gonna faint on this, couch or whatever. It's just terrible. It's terrible. Like I do not recommend growing up with novelas because you get too dramatic. And then with your hormones, your teenage hormones, forget about it. It's too much. Way too much.
Mhm.
But yeah, no. Talking about too much, there's a lot of emotion going on with Liv, and I really, really loved how she took us on that journey with her, and
He
how
really goes through it in
does.
this whole entire book.
Yes.
Yeah.
I honestly wanted to highlight and specifically mention that Kate does a very, very thorough job of portraying the teenage psyche and mind of everything that is just happening all over the place, being so dramatic and being such like it's the end of the world for everything. She has boyfriend problems, she has teacher problems, she has parent problems, she has sexuality problems. And then to top it all off, she is goth and sticks out like a sore thumb no matter where she goes.
Right.
And I just really also thought it was perfectly portrayed as well because through it all, even though she was suffering and going through it, she had a certain amount of self-confidence.
Yes.
Yes.
It takes a lot of self-confidence, honestly, to be different as a teenager.
Mhm.
And so I thought that it was super, super well. All the issues and topics and themes were super well thought through and written in the character developments in the book. And Kate herself actually does a lot of YA stuff. So I really, really enjoyed it. And a special shout out to her as being the founder of the Valkyries, which used to be a group of that consisted of all female and people who identified as women retailers in the comic book industry.
Wow.
Mhm.
That's amazing. I didn't know she founded the Valkyries. That's amazing. I also
Yeah.
really loved about the story was the fact of the bully that initially when she met on her first day of school was the girlfriend of the guy that kind of she had some kind of feelings for. Um and initially when she accidentally bumped into her, there was kind of like that negativity where she kind of also kind of became kind of her bully.
Right.
Even though everybody was telling her she's really nice and she's like, oh, but she kind of hates me kind of thing. But but I love the development in the story where she's a girl's girl and the actual development of their friendship and their kinship really just is just a glorious part of this story, which I really loved.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and
And
then
I think like oh,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I love this like solidification of like being like friends with girls because I think
Yes.
there's a lot of like pick me like definitely like pick me protagonists and stuff like
Yes.
that. Or just like I'm not just like other girls. Like who cares? Women be women. Let them be women. Just get along with them.
When girls say that, I'm like, really? Because all the girls say that.
Yeah. And it's just it's like I really love this because I think if I definitely had more girl friendships when I was in high school, my life would have been a little easier. But then like being a teenager and then being hormonal and then not really sure about where you fit in and stuff like that. It's so it's so funny because I'm 30 now. It has been 11 years. 11? Yes, 11 years since I was a teenager. And it's kind of crazy how I'm starting to not remember that time.
Right.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or like,
It'll come
cause oh god,
in little stages, like, oh, I remember this now, but it's
yeah,
nothing that defines you as a person now. It just happened to you a long time ago.
yeah, pretty much. And it's just like as I was reading it, I was getting like a lot of like flashbacks. I was like, huh, I forgot about these things.
Yes.
About or like how I used to be, how I used to dress, and how I just wanted so badly to be like either like different or recognized and stuff like that. And I was just like, that's kind of nice reflecting upon this now and like definitely a more like stable mental health.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good to
Yeah.
look back and
And
see how you've grown.
yeah, definitely. And it made me it made me a little bit like nostalgic and sad for that little girl that I used to be. Um but it was nice, I guess. And now I 100% dress how I wanted to dress back then. Cuz let me tell you, it was hard. Like I would have to like either like dress different or like I couldn't afford.
Mm.
That was one of the things about mall goths is that you were buying most of your stuff at the mall, true,
Right.
because it was commercialized, but only if you had money. Shit's not cheap.
Yeah.
Now I can afford it, or I can like find something online that is like that someone made or something, and they're like, "Oh, I'll tell you this, I can make it to your measurements," and I'm like, "Hell yeah, I can give you the
100%.
money for that."
Yes, I agree. Like
Yeah,
now you can go on Amazon and get fucking whimsical, like beautiful, like Morticia dresses, like
yeah. And now, like, I remember back then, if you couldn't find it and you couldn't save up money to get a Hot Topic, you either had to make it or you had to do your fucking best. And my best was basically a lot of bunch of black polos and baggy. Like I looked ran over. I remember it. Oh, I was so happy when I was able to convince my mom to get me a black jacket from J.C. Penney. And even then she didn't want it. And she's like, "Oh, you should get this like silver or white one." And I'm just like, "No, I want the black one."
well, for me, being way older than you, Jen, I'm 48. Oh, cringe. Uh, but like for me, like Hot Topic didn't exist. So
Mhm.
I went to Goodwill and got a bunch of like old like 50s dresses that were black or like I had a lot of really great dresses that came like from the 50s, the 60s that were black and
Mhm.
stuff and they were long because during that like flower power kind of era. So they were long, beautiful dresses. But I did
Mhm.
all my shopping for my makeup on Halloween and I stocked up for the whole week. I mean for the whole year. And then
Mhm.
like when I would go to like back then it was called Pick and Save. Now it's called Big Lots, but it was Pick and Save. And then
Yeah.
like during Halloween they would sell fishnets for costumes. So I would buy like dollar fishnets, like 4 packs, and I would make a shirt out of it. Like I would sew the fishnets. The actual legs were like my sleeves, so that was cool. But
You
I
see,
rem-
it's go ahead.
I remember buying this like it was a raincoat that was made out of like PVC, sort of the vinyl, the shiny stuff that Michelle Pfeiffer wore in Catwoman on in Batman.
Yeah.
And so I cut it up and I made a skirt because I always wanted a vinyl skirt and I did the white stitching like Catwoman. So it looked like Frankenstein, but it was a skirt that I made out of this raincoat. And there was only one time that I worked really hard and I saved like $100. And I went to Melrose to the shop called Retail Slut, and I bought something there. I think I bought a shirt that had like stitches, but it was like really cool. But it was like, I don't know, $75, because if you wanted to buy it and dress like that, like goth, it was gonna cost you a pretty penny. And that's the only thing I bought at Retail Slut. That and white powder too. A white compact. But yeah, it was a real struggle. Like definitely, like we had to make our own stuff. And fortunately, like my mom taught me how to go to like Goodwill and like search stuff out and like take your time. And even if something looked crappy on the hanger, you could take it home, wash it and iron it, and it could take on a whole new life. So that's why I didn't
Style
do
it,
it. Yeah. When Hot Topic came around, I was like always in the clearance area, just trying to hopefully find something my size, because I obviously was a bigger, fuller person. But yeah, I mean, I would run across a lot of like size 2, size 0 shit, which was annoying. But yeah, I know the struggle, and just seeing her, even she had to struggle. She had a job, and her dad obviously worked a lot, so I'm sure she could have asked her dad for money, but she was pining over this jacket, and she couldn't get it because it's so expensive. But it was like something that like we all went through. Like, oh, we want that cool jacket with the patches, or we want that.
For me, it was a pair of docs.
Yes,
$89.
yes. Oh my
Yep.
gosh.
$89.
Yes.
And this is how bad I wanted them. I had to drive to Fresno, an hour away, because it's the only place in the Tower District where they had this kind of clothing,
Yeah.
this kind of style. Like the Tower District was very artsy, still is. And I wanted docs so bad, and they were $89. Imagine now they're like $179.
Oh yeah,
They're $179 and they're not the same.
they're not.
Yeah.
The quality of docs is
No,
not the
it's
same.
not.
And so I wanted them so bad, but they didn't have my size. So I convinced my mother that the half size would be fine because I wanted them so bad. Spoiler alert, it was not fine. I wore them like twice because my feet hurt so bad, and I ended up just selling them to a friend of mine because they were too painful to wear. But and my whole makeup regimen was revolved all around one tube of Wet n Wild black lipstick. I used it for eyeshadow. I used it for
Innovative.
blush, and then I put it on my
Lips.
on my lips.
That's so innovative. That's so cool. I just used like the eyeliner, the Wet n Wild eyeliner that I would burn with a with a match or a lighter. Yeah. But
It's so funny.
my dog story was I finally got my parents to say yes to docs, and I was like, thank God, it's for my birthday, blah, blah. Where do you buy them? And I didn't know. So we went to Hollywood and we walked all over until we found some docs. And I was so happy. They were a size too big because there's men's sizes. There were not women's sizes. And I didn't care. I was like, I'm going to take them. Not like your story where they were too small. Mine were too big. One size too big. So I'm a size 6.5. So it might have been 7.5. But I was so excited. I put them on and I started walking down Hollywood because it was a day trip, because you don't drive to Hollywood and then go back home. So, my dad, we were just walking around and I was like, maybe I could convince him to get me a leather jacket too, but whatever. So I'm walking in this docs. By the end of the day, I had blisters all over my feet.
Yep.
I was like, I had no idea I had to break them in. But they were blue. I wanted them black, but I took them blue because it was the only shoe that fit me. And I didn't give a fuck. I just wanted them. Yeah.
Yeah. And what mattered more was having them.
Yes.
Then, yeah.
Actually,
Oh my God.
there was, because I wore them forever. And then there was a time that they were really getting old and raggedy, that by my senior year, I started painting pictures on my docs, like painting paintings. And so my friend who was on the yearbook committee took a picture of my docs and they're on the yearbook. Yeah. I wanna post it on social media when I find my yearbook. But yeah. Yeah, so that's my doc story. I guess we all have one, right?
For me, I think my first pair of dogs, I had to, oh God, which one were they? Oh, I got them, like, I was already an adult by then because my parents couldn't afford dogs. So I was already working. I think I was working for Jeffries. So I had never owned like a pair of dogs before that. What I had were black Converse and black Vans. That's it. And I wore those things through. I think I wore my all black Converse that were faux leather down to the sole.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, down to the sole. I'm just like, I'm not getting rid of these because that was the only black pair I owned. My parents couldn't afford to like buy me a new pair, and I was just like, okay, fine, fuck it. Like I was like, I'm working now, and then I bought them off of Facebook Marketplace, and they were like half a size too small, but then I was just like, I'm gonna wear them through. Those dogs lasted me almost 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah. Because I think I want to say it was maybe 2013, 2014 when I had them. And I think they only like gave out on me when I went to Yosemite, like say 1 or 2 years ago now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then by the end of that trip, they were like, they were like ripping like at the seams and stuff like that.
They're like, let
I
us
think
go.
I still have them in the
us
closet
go.
somewhere.
Let us
Yeah.
go.
They're pretty much, they were just like, that's it, girl. We can't do no more. And so, yeah.
Yeah,
And then like,
I wore mine down
Mhm.
too so much that the insole collapsed onto the rubber sole.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I wore them every day.
Yeah.
Like
That was me with
every
those
fucking
Converse and those
Yeah.
dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, are we ready
Oh.
to rate the
Yes,
book?
I'm so sorry. It just
Yes. we went down a trip to memory lane, and I think that speaks a lot about it because it's honestly, I wish I looked half as good as Liv did
yes.
in this book when I was a teenager. Cause goddamn, I would have killed to look like that.
Me too. She had a really great style to her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She did.
All right, I'll go first. I'm gonna give it. Oh, wait, Kristen, would you like to give
Oh,
us?
so our rating scale for the book is on a scale of 1 to 3 conchas. 3 conchas being the most conscious that I was gonna say Yvette. My best friend must be thinking about me. That Jen's mother ever let her eat in one sitting. So Jen, what is your rating?
I'm gonna give it tres conchas, the entire panaderia, capa champurrado. It was really, really good. I really enjoyed it. I loved the message that it had in. I loved the depth of character that Liv had. I like that they said Lydia Dietz, eat your heart out.
Yes.
Look, okay, like it's so funny because I was reading it, I was just like Lydia Dietz. I was just like, I know that name. And I knew it because literally the day before I had rewatched Beetlejuice with my friend.
Oh, that's
Nice.
We literally had just watched it yesterday. And then I was like, I looked it up and I was just like, the Lydia Dietz.
funny.
It's
Exactly.
Lydia Dietz from Beetlejuice, the goth girl.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who was played by Winona Ryder.
Yes. By the way, you know how like we talk about like being seen and seeing yourself in Hollywood movies and reading about yourself in books and being seen and identifying with the characters and stuff like that. One of the times I felt seen was when I saw Beetlejuice, and Winona Ryder was not only goth in the movie but just goth in general. And I was like, oh my God, I'm finally seeing myself in the movies.
I wanted to be her so
Me
bad.
too. And then when
I
she
wanted to
Welcome
be
Home Roxy Carmichael. Oh my God, when she dyed her sweater black. Yes, like, ugh, whatever. When I saw her, I
Winona
couldn't
Ryder,
believe her.
you will always be
Yeah,
famous.
she's the shit. But I'm gonna also rate this book, the whole panaderia and a capa champurrado, because like we went on a whole tangent about our youth and how we saw ourselves in this book and how we identified with the character. I myself also identified with like being like kind of like going through something like that with a fucking grown ass adult, which was trying to do the grooming shit. And yeah, I just felt like totally this story is amazing. The writer being the artist as well, and the art being so great, and it's just a perfect book. I love it. I would hand this book to any little girl out there trying to be different and just not finding her space. I think that they would appreciate a book like this, definitely. What about you, Kristen?
I also had a lot of flashbacks to my teenage goth years, and identified with a lot of what Liv was going through and how she dealt with it. I was telling Sarah earlier that when I started seeing the teacher acting inappropriately, I wanted to punch him through the book.
Yes.
I mean, very inappropriate. Although the book, I feel like the book actually dealt with it in a very
Tasteful way.
not traumatic way.
Right, right.
The reader is not traumatized or um, you know, too triggered. I don't think if they are reading this story, but it deals with the topic very well. And again, how Jen mentioned, there's the little note in the front about um, encouraging people to speak up and speak out, and giving the resources of contacting RAIN, which stands for Rape Abuse Incest National Network. So they have a hotline that you can call if you are in need of any of those services. But definitely a book that I would recommend to any teen. Uh, and I think it does a good job of encompassing what it's like to be othered as a teenager. So
Mhm.
I also give it the whole panaderia.
Excellent. That was our book review. All right, guys, it's now time for En la Librería. What do you have for us today, Jen?
So today I have Te Quiero, Te Amo, Volume 1. When two Latinos become assigned partners, they quickly realize their friendship will quickly change from friends to lovers. So, this is being created by Candice M. The synopsis / story that they have here is, "Hey there, my name is Candy, also known as Candice Moore, and I am the creator of Te Quiero, Te Amo, Destined, The Fall of an Angel, and other projects. Te Quiero, Te Amo is a webcomic I created in September of 2019, set to be completed late 2024. With over 300 pages and being a part of the Tapas Creator Bonus Program, my goal is to get this bad boy published and into the hands of my readers in a beautiful printed copy. Te Quiero, Te Amo is about Chava, an introverted Latino who starts his junior year at university, believing his time to get into a relationship has long gone. But when he's paired up with Santi, a bubbling marching band kid, he realizes hope might not be completely lost. As their relationship develops, they learn the ups and downs of being a queer couple in the Latino community, working around internalized homophobia, unsupportive families, and generational trauma, while still being true to their identities, their feelings, and their roots. The final goal of this Kickstarter is to get Te Quiero, Te Amo's first volume printed. Going at around 200 pages, this printed version will be a paperback version that will cover chapters 1 through 42. And don't forget that when you back up the project, you can get some prizes. For any $10 support, you get a glossy finished 2-inch Chanti sticker, mystery 5x7 art print that will be decided on Patreon poll. For any $30 support, you can get both Chanti sticker and mystery print plus a digital version of Te Quiero, Te Amo Volume 1. And for any supporter of $50, you get the all previous rewards, as well as a printed paperback version of the Te Quiero, Te Amo Volume 1 before it goes on sale to the public. And it says, the comic is still fairly small to a lot of the other comics, but I really hope that this project gets funded. This being my first comic, I have lots to learn, but you never learn unless you try. So thank you for considering on supporting this project, and anything helps. Thank you, and I'll see you soon." And then they have pictures of some of the interior art. I'm guessing it's already available to read for free on Tapas, so you can check it out as well. They're just trying to get it printed. So the base pledge starts at $10, which is supporter. With any support of $10, you get the 2-inch glossy finish Chanti sticker and a limited edition 5x7 print. And then $30 is the previous rewards plus the PDF. If you want a physical copy, that is the $50 pledge along with all other previous rewards. This looks really really cute, and obviously they have already they're about to finish it if it's going to be finished in late 2024. So this is just kind of a here's the physical book. The work is already done. We already know that it's worked because it's being printed or it's at least being published on Tapas. So they originally had a pledge of $1,500. They're currently at $1,507. So they've already successfully backed
That's
it.
such a small
37.
amount.
Yeah. They're from Salt Lake City, Utah. So I'm guessing because it's already done, they're all I need is the printing run for it. I wonder what printer that they're using.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
are they printing 5 copies?
Actually, now that I'm looking at this, it's a limited quantity of printed copies. Actually, there's only 30.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it is a $50 pledge to get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. And you're getting the sticker and stuff like that as well. And there is the $30 one is when you get the digital PDF of it. That makes a little bit more sense because you're still getting some physical rewards. And then the PDF copy, and that's just them basically taking what they have and maybe formatting it and stuff like that. That makes sense. That price makes sense to me. But yeah, it is a very limited run, so that's probably why they kept it at $1,500. Yeah, I think this is the goal is literally to just get it printed. So, I mean, if you want to check it out, it's for free on Tapas. But if you want a physical copy, there's not a lot left. 6 left of 30.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah. So you can still get the PDF version, of course, if you want to have a collation of it, and you don't have to go all the way to or download the Tapas app or go to Tapas and stuff like that. They have 37 backers and 18 days to go as of the recording of this. So definitely check it out. I think it sounds really, really lovely, and I love the title for it already. Te quiero, te amo. It's very, very sweet.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's available on Kickstarter. Te quiero, te amo is TEQUIERO, TEAMO. Volume 1 on Kickstarter. Definitely check it out. It looks really cute. If anything, you can either do the PDF version. If you're still in time, you can get the physical copy of it, or just look at it, see if you like the art, see if you like the premise, and check it out on Tapas for free. Definitely looks like a really wonderful story. I'm in love with it already.
I love the title.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Now it's time for Juntos y Fuertes. Kristen, what do you have for us today?
So today I have a nonprofit organization that basically came on my radar this week because I was on my Facebook on my Buy Nothing page. I don't know if you guys are members of your Buy Nothing group on Facebook, but Buy Nothing is kind of a community organized movement where they have Facebook pages that are specifically geographical to where you live. So you're only allowed to be member of one Buy Nothing group, and you have to basically live within the geographical area that that particular group is representing. And on my Buy Nothing group the other day, there was a woman who basically was looking for gently used running shoes because she's a mentor with the Students Run LA program. And it just so happens that I had a pair of brand new, I actually only wore them once, running shoes that were way too narrow for me, and they hurt my feet when I tried to wear them. And they've been sitting here on my shoe pile for months. And I'm like, hey, I have this brand new pair. You can have them. And she was so grateful and so thankful. And it made me think that I wanted to share with the listeners about the Student Run LA program. So for those of you who have been listening for some time, you all know that I actually train and run the LA Marathon every year. I have run it. Let's see. This year I think will be my 6th time that I run the LA Marathon. Um, and I always am in awe of the students who are running. And when I say students, I mean kids. So they all are part of what's called Students Run LA. And the Students Run LA is a nonprofit organization whose mission is to challenge underserved secondary students to experience the benefits of goal setting, character development, adult mentoring, and improved health by providing them a truly life changing experience, training for and completing the Los Angeles Marathon. So, to carry out the mission, they have 5 key objectives. They implement a strategic plan to ensure the organization's vibrancy, sustainability, and growth into the future. You can go to srla.org to find out more information. But the reason I'm sharing it is because when I was speaking to this mentor, she mentioned that the program does offer shoes to the kids, but they only get 1 pair and they don't get them until December. And they've already started training. I started my training 5 years, 5 weeks ago. Um, and they started their training as well. And their first pair of shoes, they're not going to get until December. And then it's the only pair they're going to get. And that pair is going to have to last them through the rest of their training, and then they're going to run the marathon in that pair of shoes on March 16th, which is when the marathon happens next year. So I wanted to share this program because I feel like it is such an amazing program to get kids to goals and to train. It really gets them to start looking at their health and wellness um, in a very specific way, really getting to feel what it's like to feel the benefits of exercise, and especially endurance running. Like these kids are in high school and junior high, and they are running 26.2 miles, just like the rest of us on that day. And honestly, it's a big emotional and psychological feat. Physical is just a small part of it. I have actually come across many SRLA students who were crying the last 6 miles of the LA Marathon because it was just so hard and they didn't realize it, but they did it. A lot. The very first time I ran LA, it was me and this little boy who wanted to quit, and there was no one around. He was by himself. And he and I went and finished together. And he helped me just as much as I helped him. And
Aw.
so when she told me that they only get 1 pair, I'm like, wow, that's a big deal. You know how many pairs I go through during a training season? Like at least 5. And then I buy a new pair for the race itself. And to highlight the fact these are underserved communities, these are marginalized communities. These are communities where students, for the most part, cannot afford a $160 pair of running shoes, let alone 2 or 3. So if you have any gently used running shoes, if you have any extra money to give to this program, it is such an amazing program. It's a nonprofit organization, and I think such an amazing thing. Honestly, running my first marathon changed my life. And if only I had a program like this when I was in high school, and got involved in running, I think I would have actually accomplished so much more in life. Not that I haven't accomplished a lot, but just it gives you a sense of accomplishment and a lot of self-confidence once you have completed something like a marathon. So srla.org, Students Run LA. Definitely, if you can, support them. And if you want to be a mentor, they also look for mentors. So um, that's that's all I have on Juntos y Fuertes.
Dude, when you were talking, I'm like, I teared up. Like, I don't want to touch it. because it'll fall. But but yeah, no, I got a little choked up there. That's really I mean, just hearing about how emotional it could be to actually finish it, and that kid that was with you on your very first marathon. That just a lovely story, very lovely. So
Yeah. My brother was actually in well, he was in track and field in high school, and his coach was also like, we're also going to be doing like SRLA as well. So he was very lucky. His coach would actually like buy the kids like shoes and stuff like that, and then they would also get the shoes, not like one free pair of shoes from SRLA. And I remember that did help a lot because we could not afford those big
Yeah.
shoes. We could like yeah. I think there was only like one time that my parents were able to like get him like the shoes and stuff like that. And even then he like wore through them, and he had to like tie them in a specific way so that he could like make them last longer.
wow.
And so it's a wonderful program. It really is. It does help a lot of students, and it helps them like with like uniforms. So like some of them can represent their school and stuff like that, or like with the shoes and stuff like that. And also with like it's incredible that these kids are running a marathon.
Yeah.
It's like it's a wonderful program. I do wish that there was like more support for it and stuff like that. But you know, dude, who cares about community programs, right? It's anyways, definitely support your local schools if you can.
All right, guys. Now it's time for saludos, and saludos goes out today. We're really excited about this. It's a Kickstarter project that's launching pretty soon. It's Jordan Hart's Ripple Effects, the Deluxe Edition, and it's gonna be launched on Kickstarter by Fanbase Press. So saludos goes out to Jordan Hart and Fanbase Press because Ripple Effects is gonna be it's gonna be the Kickstarter is gonna be for the campaign to fund an expanded deluxe hardcover edition of the book featuring all new contributors from some of the biggest names in comics, including foreword by Eisner and Harvey Award-winning writer Gail Simone. So we're really excited for them. So saludos goes out to them. So if you want to get notified about this project, there is an option. Just go on Kickstarter and search Jordan Hart's Ripple Effects, the Deluxe Edition. Or what I did is I searched Fanbase Press, and this campaign is launching soon. You could push the notify me on launch, and you will get notified when this Kickstarter becomes active. We're really excited about this. So saludos goes out to Fanbase Press and Jordan Hart. All right, guys, this brings us to the end of this episode. Don't forget, if you're listening to us right now on your favorite listening platform, know that you could always watch us and the faces we make on YouTube. And it's free to listen, free to watch us, and let us know if you have any comments, any suggestions, or anything. We welcome any comments. You can DM us or instant message us on most of the social media platforms. Where else can they find us, Kristen?
You can find us at our website at www.comadresycomics.com. And I just wanted to point out, we on our YouTube channel, we have uploaded our panel that we actually did at San Diego Comic-Con. It was confronting recidivism with comics. It was an amazing panel. And there were people on the panel who have been affected by the justice system and have been incarcerated. Some people who have actually created comics while they were in the system, and also about being in the system. It was an amazing panel, and as a surprise to nobody, I cried. And I just really recommend that you watch it and listen to it, and also just send any questions or messages about that particular video. Again, I can't tell you how great it was.
Really amazing. The energy that we got from the audience, the energy from our panelists. It was just really an amazing experience. And we are so high on that amazing energy that we got that we just want to do panels for all the comic conventions now. So please do check it out. It was really, God, just so inspiring and just so, I mean, I was there and I'm still like, I want to go watch it again because it was just really, really inspiring. There's this whole energy that you get from just like listening in. So hopefully you guys check it out. Please let us know what you think. Thank you so much for listening to us. This is episode 224. We're so happy to be back. And please let us know if you have any questions, any comments, dirty limericks, whatever you guys want. Just holler at us. And I wanted to also let you guys know that wherever we will be tabling at a convention, we got all new swag. When I went to Nicaragua, we got stickers, we got bags. We're very excited. Maybe soon we'll have t-shirts. We're working on that as well. So thank you so much for listening. We have been your hosts. I'm Sarah.
I'm Chris.
Jen is in the mute. She's a mute.
My bad. I'm Jen.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
And that's on Period Network.